Exercises for author creatives, the power of ideas. Creativity is the phenomena where something new and valuable is formed out of nothing. There's a big difference between being smart and being creative. Some smart people are creative, though many are not. Meanwhile, some creative people are smart, but many, like me, are as thick as a stack of wet beer mats. The ancient Greeks believed that the only true creative art was poetry. They thought all other art involved some copying. Sculpture, yes, they thought it involved imperfectly duplicating body shapes. Picture painting, they thought it involved imitating real life. Architecture, yes, they thought it involved reproducing something that had been seen before. And music, they thought it involved repetition after memorization. Yes, the ancient Greeks thought that only poetry could be pure creation. And in fact, and I might be corrected on this, and I don't mind if I am, but I don't think they even had a proper word for imagination. I think they just called the concept poetry. And because inspiration was such an unpredictable and curious gift, rarely to be found, it was thought it must be some kind of divine, supernatural prize that was only offered once in a while to a very select few, bestowed by a benevolent hand of some remote and immortal being, in recognition of some service or for a sacrifice offered. 9 nymphs, known as the Muses, and this was later reduced to 3 muses due to budgetary cuts under the Roman Empire, but originally there were 9 mediating agents known as muses for this immortal top dog, and these muses were, I suppose, the intermediaries for the geezer in charge. And the Romans also, and the Greeks, invoked a concept of external demons in Greek, or genius or genii in Roman Latin, to explain how an otherwise humble and crude individual like myself, apparently without any proper learning, could nevertheless magically come up with amazing concepts and ideas out of thin air. But let's save the divine intervention and intermediary muses for another time, and instead focus on the methods and practice of what the Walt Disney Corporation calls Imagineering. And that is the creation and the design and the construction of wonderful things. And that's where you come in. Because you are a Roma, R-O-A-M-E-R, and I'm glad that you found me. And I use the word Roma appropriately and not flippantly, because I think you must be. You're super curious, you're an explorer, you're on the highway of creation, and you're an intrepid voyager on the byways of invention, especially if you've come this far and you've stumbled across me. And I'm glad that you're here, and I'm humbled by your presence. And I am Mach, if you don't know me, and I'm the author of the Moondog series. And when I meet new people and I tell them that I'm an author, do you know what they always say? They always ask, "Do I know you?" And once they get over the feelings of utter resentment and complete disappointment when I tell them that no, I'm not Neil Gaiman, and no, I'm not Neil Stevenson, and no, I'm not Neil Simon, if they stick around, and often they run away, but if they stick around, they sometimes ask another question, and that is, where do you get your ideas from? They expect me to say, oh, well, there's an encyclopedia that I turn to. I call it the bumper book of ideas. I just dive into that book and I get my next story. Or they perhaps think I might say, there's a great app that I access on my phone. It gives me all the ideas I need for plots, all the ideas for narratives, all the characters, etc. I just tap onto that application and it's a great place to get new concepts. Or maybe they expect me to tell them about a technique that I use. Oh, I connect with the patterns of consciousness through chanting and through meditation and through daily yoga. Or possibly they expect me to say, I attach crystals to my energy grids and therefore I clear my blocked energies and make the most of my aura. Unfortunately, getting ideas is not that easy. Getting ideas takes sweat and diligence and effort. But of course they don't want to hear that. They don't want to know that authoring is hard work. There's no such thing as a miracle moonstone or a magical glow potion that helps you get ideas. Ideas arise from practice, they are born from struggle, they are generated by pugnacity, and they spring from the well of commitment. And it's a commitment to the metaphysical. It's a commitment to valuing abstract ideas over concrete results. But don't worry though, because your ideas can be deliverable and the fruits of your theoreticals can be verifiable, especially if you play with ideas and you enjoy limbering up your imaginative noodles. That's why I keep my thinking hat on. It keeps my head warm and it helps me limber up my imaginative noodles. The same people who ask me whether they've ever heard of me and how I get my ideas could ask an additional question, and that is, do you practice any mental exercises that help you tone your creative energies? But of course they never do ask that question. So in the absence of such a clever question, and in the spirit of trying to help you by sharing some tools with you and other creatives, I've dreamed up a bunch of silly but I think helpful brain exercises that I hope you can use to motivate yourself if you want to. You can try these exercises in the privacy of your own home or together with me, or you can just chuckle at my idiotic attempts to juggle with the hokey pokey skittles of a creative jiggamaree. This is creative ingenuity braining. This is creative ingenuity brain training, so to speak. So don't expect immediate results. Just have fun, just play. I think these exercises will help stimulate your nodules and will energize those parts of your brain that seem to be sluggish or they require good ventilation. So good luck with them. The last thing I'd like to say is what this is not. This is not a tutorial on how to write things. There are millions of great tutorials and videos and comprehensive college courses, 3-year college courses that will teach you how to write. This is how to find the ideas. It's about the problem solving and the concept generating that you will need to do if you want to be a successful fiction writer. This is the stuff that has to take place before you start putting your words down on paper. And it's also about the enjoyable creativity, the struggles, but their strategies too, that you can use along the way to stop yourself from going stale. So enjoy.